Hi everyone. I'm just seeing what I can do while I am live and I have the camera on me because I wanted to share a screen, but I also want you guys to see me. Doesn't look like I'm gonna be able to share a screen unless I come in sharing a screen. Okay, so yeah, I don't see a way I can share the screen once I have gone live. Doesn't look like I can. Okay, that's fine. Um, I will show. Hi everyone. Um, so I wanted to go live because um, I'm back. I'm not banned on TikTok anymore, and I'm gonna go live on TikTok probably later on. But I wanted to talk to you guys. There are a lot of people on my Facebook page that are friends with me that have known me for a very long time. That's gone to school, that has known me since elementary school. And then I have a lot of people that is on this Facebook page that know me personally. And I wanted to kind of just I'm trying to spread an awareness because what I've experienced these past 4 months, it just seems as though that there is a lack of knowledge amongst all of us on what mental illness and what mental illness can lead to and the cause of it. Um, I suffer from suicidal ideation. It's mainly because I have major depressive disorder. I was diagnosed with this when I was very, very young. I was misdiagnosed as bipolar. I'm actually ADHD. And the ADHD was triggered mainly through sexual abuse. I was severely sexually abused as a child. It's kind of why I am the way I am with my daughter. But because of that trauma that I had as a child when I was young, because of the severity of the sexual abuse I endured, it led to my mind. Trauma affects the DNA, affects the wiring in your brain, and that's basically what happened to me. So when I entered puberty, the effects of the sexual abuse trauma that I endured as a child manifest into ADHD and major depressive disorder. And in the sexual abuse trauma that I endured as a child, I lost my confidence. I lost my self-worth. I lost how I viewed myself in value. And then I didn't have a parent figure that fought for me. And they looked at the abuse that I endured, the abuse that they were aware of, as though it was my fault. So fast forward 40 years later, and someone who has gone through a lifetime of trauma, misunderstanding, rejection, couple that with the sexual abuse, major depressive disorder, the suicidal ideation. When you have all of that compounding on a mind, it's really easy to crumble under that stress, under that trauma. I have severe PTSD, and I'm actually just figuring that out from these past 4 months, that a lot of my reactions is due to the post-traumatic stress the disorder that I have. And I'm saying all of this because a lot of people do not understand suicidal ideation. They do not understand people who commit suicide. There are people who obviously, for obvious reasons, who commits suicide because they're not willing to accept or face accountability. You have, just like Justin Fairfax. I mean, we're not talking about an individual that suffered a lifetime of traumatic abuse. And I mean, honestly, we really don't necessarily know what happened to him in his childhood, but I'm not even in any way giving any grace to him. What I'm just explaining is, we don't know what led up to him to have the complete mental psychotic break to kill not only himself but his wife. But we're not talking about people like that. We're not talking about Justin Fairfax. I'm talking about people more like Chelsea Chris. Chelsea Chris was Chelsea Corinne Chris. She was an American television correspondent. She was a model. She won Miss Universe 2019. Chelsea Chris, on the outside, had the perfect life. She was a successful attorney. She had, assets, millions of dollars. People loved her. She started a nonprofit. She was, she had a supportive family. She had a supportive parents. She had everything that you would think someone could just want in life to be healthy and happy. Yet she took a plunge off the 29th floor of the Orion in New York because she was so deeply, innately unhappy. And I'm saying all that to say, if someone like Chelsea Chris, who has everything in the world, can't find happiness and still finds a way to convince themselves that killing themselves is the only way out, I need you to understand that someone like me, who doesn't have everything, can easily find their way down into that deep dark when they're faced with economic turmoil or, a death of a loved one, things like that. When you have major traumatic events happen into your adult life, coupled with the post-traumatic stress that you suffer from your childhood sexual abuse, it's easy to fall into the deep dark. And I'm saying all of that, you guys, to say, I really just want you guys to understand how serious and how complicated suicidal ideation is. And I'm bringing up Chelsea Chris because I'm trying to compare myself to someone who is highly successful. Because I lost my best friend because she didn't understand my suicidal ideation. Wasn't necessarily because I was a failure in adulthood. It's because I suffer from major depressive disorder and post-traumatic stress syndrome, and that it is really difficult to deconstruct from that trauma, and that sometimes traumatic events such as losing a $50 an hour job that you work very, very hard to get can trigger. And that's why I'm bringing all that up. You guys, Trump was elected in 2024. 6 months later, I was doged from the Department of Treasury. I was a contractor through MBO Partners. I was making $50 an hour. I was paying $16.50 rent. I was living in Montrose in Houston. I had a Jeep Wrangler. My daughter was going to private school. I had the money and the means to finally live the life that I have been working for, past trying to heal myself for. And here comes this fucking orange buffoon and his psycho Elon pet. And they literally cancel all of our contracts after they were extended for 18 months. Okay? I went from $50 an hour to zero overnight. And I have applied for 1,800 roles since then. I am now finally back employed, but I went from $50 an hour to $17.31 an hour. Okay? That's a $33 difference. I have lost my home. I have lost my car. I have lost so much because I lost this opportunity back in April, and that was the trigger. What you witnessed was my spiral from losing so much that I worked so hard for and not being able to get that back. And it's not because I don't have a bachelor's. I have a degree. I have 20 years of legal compliance experience. I was able to get this job with the Department of Treasury because I'm a damn good fraud investigator, AML analyst, and a compliance reviewer. I'm good at what I do. I'm good at the law. Might not have a degree, but I have the experience. I have the references. And that's how I was able to get this job. I was able to get this job. I had a $2,000 sign-on bonus, and then a year and a fucking half later, you have this orange buffoon, this dumbass, not realizing we're investigating fraud. They literally put out a news article in March 2025 that the Trump administration was going to cease from investigating white-collar crime and consumer complaints on how banks were handling fraud. So that's how I lost my job, y'all. It's not because I'm a failure in life. It's not because I didn't go to school and do it right. That is a fallacy that was sold to us. If you are in the same position, you lost your job, you were laid off, or you were fired for whatever, it is because the system is designed not for you, but for those that have the power. And my mental deterioration is a direct reflection of this person's that we have elected in the office, his policies. I have suffered so much, and I'm one of the lucky ones. There's people out here they're having strokes because they have lost everything because of this person's policies. And I'm coming live because I need grace from people who have known me all my life. I need you to understand that I have gone through hell. I'm going to put in the comments my manifesto. It's called "Don't Try to Understand a Suicidal Mind." I want you guys to please read this, okay? Please read what I wrote. And understand, when I wrote this manifesto, "Don't Try to Understand a Suicidal Mind," I was really deep in my suicidal ideation. I was there, okay? I'm not there now. I'm still have those thoughts in my head, but I'm not in a deep dark. I've been pulled out the hole, and I'm giving a shout out to Chris Cotton, my son's father. He was the one that got me out of that hole. He was the one that did it. And it was just because he was being a friend and being kind to me and understanding that my mental illness was not my fault. And he helped pull me out that darkness. So please, if you know Chris Cotton, please tell him that, just show him love, because he is an amazing individual. He is my son's father. He and I are not together, but he is one of my best friends. But in the comments, I put, "Don't try to understand a suicidal mind" for your if you want to read, if you want to just try to understand where I was when I was mentally in the throes of suicidal ideation. And I'm also putting in the comments basically just my trauma, and it's called The Unwanted Sex Life of a Little Girl, and that will give you everything you need to know about what I went through as a child and the sexual abuse that I went through as a child. And you read this, and it's trigger warning. I'm just letting you know that is going to describe sexual activity that was done to me as a child, okay? So when you read this, please understand that is what you're reading. This is a first-hand account of what I experienced as a child, and the sexual abuse that I endured. And I'm sharing all this. I wrote all this because I really need you guys to understand. I am a kind person. I am a hard worker. I try to strive to be a better version of myself every day, okay? I am a flawed human just like you. I lost my best friend because I had suicidal ideation. All I did was text her and tell her where her goddaughter was going to be, and that was too much for her. And I have struggled so hard these past 4 months because it's a miracle I'm here, okay? There are times the only reason why I am still here is because I have an empathetic mind. Like literally there was a day when I was going to walk into traffic. The reason I didn't was because I didn't want to put someone else in danger. I didn't want to walk into traffic and then somebody tries to swerve and hit me from hitting me, and then they hit someone else and then they get hurt because of me. I'm not a selfish person, okay? I'm in pain, okay? I have post-traumatic stress syndrome. I was severely abused as a child. I am not a selfish, mean, spiteful, vindictive person. I don't believe in that. I believe in giving people grace and empathy and kindness. That is who I am. And it's always been the reason I've been a target. So I wanted to go live to just kind of give a awareness. Then give you guys this manifesto. Don't try to understand a suicidal mind and the unwanted sex life of a little girl. These two journal entries, manifestos, essays, however you want to describe it, are very personal and very raw, and they give you a firsthand account of where my mind was when I was suicidal and why, in the sexual abuse that I endured as a child. I name names. I am not sugarcoating. There is only one name in there that I don't name, and that was because I didn't want that person to be confronted because they didn't have anything to do with the sexual abuse. But if you I just wanted to make sure that you knew. I'm trying to give you guys a raw visual of who I am, and why I think the way I do, and why I have such a hard line stance on boundaries, why I don't tolerate people disrespecting me the way I will cut you off, and I've done that, just this past January, I was part of the Lions Club here in Houston. Now, the Lions Club is supposed to be this huge volunteer organization, and I reached out to the people I'm supposed to be a part of a group from, and all I did was ask for information. I didn't want money. I didn't want anything. I let them know what I was going through. I was losing my home. I was about to be on the streets, and they ignored me. And so I felt that was hypocritical, because if you're a lion and you're supposed to be a volunteer organization for the humanitarian of other people, to help people, and you're not willing to help a fellow lion, then you're a bunch of fucking hypocrites. See, I will cut you off. Like, that right there is a deal breaker for me. You're a hypocrite. Because if somebody would have put the message in the group chat that I did, I wouldn't have cared who they were. I don't care if I had 50 cents to my name. I would have at least acknowledged them. I would have at least acknowledged their pain and their troubles that they were going through. I would have at least told them, oh my God, I am so sorry you're going through this. I do not have anything to offer. I will start looking for resources to provide you and give you those links. But geez, man, that is so sad. I'm here to hold you, embrace you if you just want to come get a hug. I didn't even get fucking that, okay? And to me, that's hypocritical. To me, that's the very definition of a hypocrite. You're part of an organization designed to help people, but you don't want to help a fellow lion. Whether it's because you're being judgmental or lazy or selfish. Why are you part of a group that's designed to help humanitarian needs when you're not even willing to help someone that's right fucking there in your face that needed help? So I'm just saying all that to say that I set boundaries for myself, and that, you show me that level of hypocrisy and disconnect from humanity, then yeah, I'm going to remove you from my life. Yes, that will occur. But I also wanted you guys to hear something that, and just to kind of let you guys understand that I am not the only person who has suffered from this man's policies, the Doge cuts, the layoffs, the firings. I am not the only one. It's not just black women. I'm about to show you guys, this is a white guy. This is a white boy. This white guy, he unfortunately lost his job as a program software engineer. And he has been searching for new work at the time of this video, which was 2 weeks ago, for 6 months at this time. Now, this is a white guy, and the reason why I wanted to choose someone that was white was because I want the bias against black women, because despite me being as bright as I am perceived as a black woman. There is no white person in this world that perceives me as a white person. They see the blackness that my father gave me. So I'm saying that. So this is a white man that's going through exactly what I'm going through. And he lost his job as a program software engineer due to AI. And he recently found out that the company that fired him is now struggling because the AI that they were counting on to take over his job isn't working well. So there's this guy here. It's this guy. I'm just going to let you, I don't know, you'll probably be able to see the video. I'm going to let you hear what he's going through. And I want you to understand that my suicidal ideation and mental deterioration since April last year is not just freaking limited to me. It's not because, oh, there's Aaron going crazy again. Again, I need you to go into the comments and read what I have gone through in my life, the sexual abuse that I endured as a child, the rampant sexual abuse that I went through as a child, and the fact that I don't even remember when my fucking virginity was taken before you judge me and say that I'm crazy or something. I need you to understand what I've been through before you make that judgment of me. So the whole point I'm coming live is because I get a lot of judgment from people that have known me for years since I was a child, and y'all have no idea what I've gone through. You have no idea what I've suffered through. You don't know. I have no idea. So this is a white guy who is going through the same mental deterioration that I just went through and now finally coming out of. I'm a lot more clearer than what I was 2 months ago. I was gone. Like, I was ready to go. Like, I was looking my friend still has the pew pew. He still has the pew pew I asked for, because I was absolutely going to go rent a fucking car, get the pew pew, go to Galveston and blow my head off. I was going to go on live. I was absolutely planning on doing that. I don't want to do it now. I don't have the desire to do it now, but I'm not suicidal now. I still have suicidal ideation, always in the back of the head. Hey, Aaron, it's always best. You know, you can just off yourself and just make it a lot better. It's always going to be there for people who suffer from suicidal ideation, but the desire to die is no longer there. I don't want to die. I don't. I love life. I love trees and smoking weed. I don't want to die. So I'm saying all of that because I need you to understand that this isn't just Aaron being crazy. This isn't just a black woman suffering. This is all the fuck up of us. And if it hasn't affected you yet, if we don't make a change, it will affect you. So check this poor guy out. Check him out.
This is proof of my stress as a software engineer who's been laid off. Subconjunctival hemorrhage. This is proof of my stress as a software engineer who's been laid off. It's been 8-9 months since I've been laid off, quite literally due to AI. It's the classic formula that many companies have been using, which is laying off 50 to 70% of your workforce, leaning heavily into AI, and cutting costs across the board. And to be fair, with my experience of talking to many CEOs in this 9 months and founders, it's not working. That's a whole nother topic. I don't want to get into that. I really debated on doing this video because I've seen a lot of other software engineers out there in the same exact position that I'm in, telling their story, and I wondered, what's the value of me even telling my story? And to be honest with you, I just want to get it off my chest. I want to push it out into the ether, and maybe someone can relate to what I've been going through, because this whole process has just taken a huge stressful toll on my life, more than I can imagine. You know, there were a lot of outside factors that made 2025 the worst year of my life in general, but this compounded with that has just been brutal, and I'm tired, so I've taken a break.
So it wasn't just me, y'all, okay? It wasn't just me. It wasn't just me crashing out. There are a lot of people out here crashing out. And stop listening to mainstream media. Stop listening to, I'm sorry, I used to be the biggest CNN fan. I used to be hardcore CNN. Like, I literally have a annual subscription so I can watch CNN whenever I want to, right? CNN is part of the propaganda machine. You guys got to find you firsthand accounts of what's really going on here. The government is lying to us. The propaganda is almost everything that you hear being reported from the government right now is propaganda. I don't think there is truth weaved in it, but it's all pretty much propaganda. And so you guys got to stop listening to CNN, Ms. Now. Even then, Ms. Now is going to, or MS Now, but I call it Ms. Now. Ms. Now is probably the only far left news channel there is. But the thing about it is that their far left is still part of the propaganda machine. Because don't think the far left doesn't have their own level of propaganda. They do. So Ms. Now can't be trusted either. Mainstream media is just not something. You have to kind of go out here and do your own critical thinking and research and finding firsthand accounts to understand what's really happening out here. So I'm gonna play a little bit more of what he said, and then I'm just gonna. I wasn't planning on being live long, but I just wanted to kind of go live because a lot of people that are friends with me, a lot of people that have known me all my life, are on Facebook. Now, I get a lot of traction on TikTok. My TikTok lives, I get up to 400 to 700 people watching at any given time. But on Facebook, I don't get that traction. But my friends are here. You guys, my people who literally have touched and feel and gone to school with me, you guys know me. And these past few months, yeah, you witnessed crashing out. Yeah, yeah. Because I lost everything, y'all. I lost fucking everything. I lost my house. I don't have my car no more. I lost everything. And it's not because I didn't work hard. It's not because I didn't go out here and do the job right. It's because we have policies in the current administration who have implemented things that directly affected me. And I happen to be one of the early casualties. There are white guys like this. There are white guys like that are in the same position. So it has nothing to do with me being ghetto. It has nothing to do with me being black. Well, it has a lot to do with me being black. I'm sorry, they targeted black people. Like they targeted black women and the black employees in the federal government. This guy was laid off in the private sector. This guy was laid off from a software engineering company because we have a feckless Congress that won't rein in on these tech companies and require these businesses that or say something along the lines of you can't lay off more than 10% of your labor force in a 24-month rolling period due to specific AI advancements. You can't do there are so many ways that we can address this without hurting people, without hurting people like this guy who's having fucking hematolins or whatever that's called in his eye, where the blood vessel is exploding in his eye because he's so stressed out because he can't find a job. It's not just me. I'm not crashing out because I'm crazy. I crashed out because I lost everything. This guy crashed out because he's losing everything. And then when you have all of that coupled with our sick culture on great culture, this embracing of hurting children, the Epstein files, you think it just stops there? You think the Epstein files and these women that were abused by Epstein, these rich people are the only people that have suffered from sexual abuse? I'm one of them. In the comments, if you want to read what happened to me as a child, please go ahead, look at the Google Doc. It gives you a point by point, and I didn't even fucking finish it. I wrote that, and I was breaking down writing that. I didn't even finish the abuse that I went through as a child. The sexual, rampant abuse that I went through as a child. And this is a man patriarchal, misogynistic issue. You have all of this. You have all of this piling on us, and you're wondering why we're crashing out? I'm just brave enough to let y'all see that shit. But y'all not gonna see that. I mean, other than me doing something like this on a live every once in a while, I mean, I have really started making the efforts to lessen my addiction to social media. Social media is social media is going to be responsible for two things: the downfall of society and the revolution. Those are the two things that social media is going to be responsible for. And I don't post hardly at all now. I don't, because it entices me to be a little bit more uninhibited than I normally would be. And yeah, You witnessed some things. That morning when I was on live and y'all saw me walking and I swear when I tell you I was this close, that there are destiny reasons. Like fate is the only reason why I am still here. That day I was getting ready to bounce. Tell all y'all peace. I was ready to go. Suicidal ideation is serious. Robin Williams had it and he didn't say anything. Chelsea Chris had it and she didn't say anything. You saw what happened. So when you see someone crashing out claiming that they're going to kill themselves, please embrace them. They're screaming because they don't want to die. And I hate it when I hear people say they're just trying to get attention. You see, she didn't kill herself. Isn't that the fucking good thing that they didn't kill themselves? Isn't that a good thing? That, yeah, they went through the suicidal ideation. They started crashing out. They're saying that they're going to kill themselves and they don't. Isn't that a good thing? Isn't that the goal, that you don't want someone to kill themselves? Isn't that it? So why are you frustrated because they didn't fucking kill themselves? What kind of shit, what kind of sick, selfish ass shit is that? That's a level of gaslighting I have never seen before. So yeah, if someone's crashing out and they have a suicidal ideation, they're screaming that they want to kill themselves and they don't, please applaud that person. Please tell that person, I am so glad you were able to fight that demon that was trying to tell you you were better off dead. It is a good thing that someone doesn't kill themselves, okay, y'all? It's a good thing. So please go to YouTube, because YouTube right now seems to be the only medium, Reddit too, and look at some of these videos of these people going through what I'm going through. Losing everything because of this man's policies. They said last month like 150,000 jobs was added last month. I don't believe that for a second. I think it's ironic that they came up with that February we lose almost 100,000 jobs, but then all of a sudden in March we come up with 130,000 jobs. I just think that's bullshit. I don't think that's right. I think that's real propaganda, what you're hearing. And you're starting to see America is more propagandized than North Korea. We've been told we are the greatest country in the world. For how long? That we are the top education. For how long? Americans are a bunch of fucking idiots. So I wanted to go live on Facebook because I needed you guys to see me clear. I needed you guys to see the difference between me in a clear mind and me when I'm suicidal. Me in a clear mind and when I am in the throes of my post-traumatic stress. And if you want to understand where my post-traumatic stress comes from, where my suicidal ideation comes from, just look in the comments and just read the documents that I put in there, okay? Just letting you know that the document titled The Unwanted Sex Life of a Little Girl is very triggering, because I give firsthand accounts on what happened to me as a child. Okay? So I'm giving you all of this because I need you guys to understand. It's not necessarily about caring what you think of me, but it is about you understanding who I am and why I am the way I am. Why I sometimes say the things that I do. Sometimes it's just, I don't know, maybe it's because I think differently. I'm a nonconformist, I don't know, but I've also have a mind rewired by traumatic events, severe traumatic events. And we're not even talking about the loss of my cousin who was kidnapped, raped, and murdered, okay, in 2001, Lauren Brown, you can Google it. If you're in Charlotte or in North Carolina, Gary McFadden had a television show. He did a show about her murder. He calls it The Longest Night, if I'm not mistaken. This was when I was 21 when I lost my cousin. She was 16 years old. She was kidnapped out of her driveway, driven to South Carolina, raped, and shot in the back of the head. And then the motherfucker drove her body back up to where my grandfather's land was and then dumped her body 100 feet from my grandfather's home. For a week, we kept smelling her decaying body. We kept smelling her. My grandmother went out looking to see if there was a dead deer. Can you imagine if my grandmother would have came across her body? We didn't know Lauren was out there until Gary McFadden beat the shit out of the man that killed her, and he confessed to killing her and showed them where he put her body. That is just a snippet of the trauma I've gone through, okay? And that isn't even direct to me. I wasn't the one killed. My cousin was. My first cousin, my aunt's daughter, the little girl I grew up with, was taken from me that way. Okay? That was in 2001. And that's after years of sexual abuse. That's after years of dealing with my narcissistic bitch-ass mother, Jackie Brown. You know, I've gone through hell in life. And my trauma is my trauma, and I'm trying to heal myself from it. I thought I was healed until I went through this with what I just went through this past year. Being dosed, losing everything that I've worked hard for. Everything. I ain't got no safety net. I ain't got no nest egg. I don't have no family that got $10,000, $15,000 to give me for a down payment. I've never owned a home in my life. I've never owned anything other than this fucking TV I got over here. And I worked so hard for that job. That job was paying for my bachelor's. That job was paying for my certification for a fraud examiner. That job was paying for my anti-money laundering license. I was being paid $50 an hour. That job was financing my future. And Doge took it from me. So yeah, I fucking crashed out. Yeah, I crashed the fuck out. Yes, because we have 77 blithering dumbass idiots that voted for this fucking person, and I lost everything. So yeah, I crashed out. My mental health deteriorated. Fucking fell to the ground. And now I went from $50 an hour to $17 an hour. That's a $33 difference. That's life-changing. So yeah, I crashed out. Yeah, y'all. So I'm going to sum it all up. You can go back to the live and look at it from the beginning. I'm going to post this on YouTube. Please give grace to people. Please recognize the reality in the world we're in. Just because you're comfortable now doesn't mean that what has affected me won't come to get you. Because it will. Especially if we don't do something about Congress and this fucking buffoon we got in office right now. It will come and affect you. Just because you're comfortable right now doesn't mean that you're immune. It doesn't mean that it won't happen to you. It doesn't mean that you won't get a call Monday morning and your boss says, well, the tariffs has killed us, man. We got to let you go. We can no longer afford your salary. And you go from $160,000 a year to zero overnight. And you thinking, oh, well, I'll just get another job. And you quickly realize after you submitted 150 resumes in a couple of weeks and not getting any callbacks, there are no jobs out here because there are so many people just like you. Please recognize that you are not immune. You can be in the exact same position of losing everything. That your degree won't save you. That your clout won't save you. That your best friends, your network, all of that won't save you. Because I have spent 10 years getting people elected. I have spent 10 years teaching candidates how to get elected. And all of that effort did nothing to save me from losing everything. So please give people grace. Stop thinking that because you are comfortable financially and that you are able to pay your rent and your mortgage, that you're better than me or anybody else that may be struggling. And if you are comfortable, please take that comfortability and start giving to people. Start recognizing that there are people out here that need help. So while you're sitting in your house and you're enjoying your beautiful Saturday afternoon and you're sipping your tea and you're watching your show, maybe consider donating that hour cleaning up your neighborhood. I'm actually just about to go do that. I'm about to go take Marley to the park and I'm about to go clean up the block. I'm gonna take a trash bag and some gloves and I'm gonna pick up all that fucking trash that's out there. And I don't want no help. I'm only giving you that as an example that on my Saturday, while I'm preaching to you to go do something other than sitting on your ass and thinking that your life is perfect, to go do something to help your community, to go do something to beautify it, to go do something to help that homeless person that you know sits on a corner, just go have a conversation with them. Go treat them like a human for fucking once. Do something for someone else other than yourself. Because it was the selfish vote for Trump that led to me losing everything. It was the selfish vote to Trump that led to people losing their children to cancer when they lost access to a special drug trial. It's the selfish vote for Trump that led to people losing their food stamps and their Medicaid in their medical access. We have to stop being so fucking selfish as a people. Please give people grace, and please stop thinking just of yourself. And remember, we are not alone. We are all in this together. We are the one majority.